Hey guys, my name is JessiMew, and welcome back to the Ancient Legends Challenge. In the last episode, our tribe finally saw the heat body for the very first time. Katniss and Rayleigh both received Melody's blessing, so they have the heat body in their genetics. I guess that means that they might be able to melt the snow once we get to the mountains and once we find an area with plenty of snow to melt. The heat body is supposed to radiate heat to surrounding fields, so I'm not sure if that means that it's actually going to warm up our creatures, but it sounds like it'll be a good way for us to carve pathways in the mountains. Either way, I am super excited to try it out, and I know that Lolly is also very excited too. This is a pretty good sign to her that it's time for us to pack up and leave, and hopefully it's a good omen for many mountains to come. So let's bring her down here to the ports as well. We could actually set her up right in the front. That way she can get to know these two little babies a bit better. I guess she's kind of going to act as their caretaker in a way. I can't really see Sapphire coming along with us because this is just her home now, and Duke is just about to pass away anyways, so she would probably want to stay where he is. I do think we could probably have them have just one more baby though. Since we won't be bringing them along, there should be some extra room, so fingers crossed the fertility isn't going to get in the way this time, because the last time it was a little bit tricky. There we go, so Duke Kareem is going to have the chance to have just one more baby here. I guess we could bring him over to this side of his mate, that way he's lighting up a little bit more of the grass. The last thing we need is some big tragedy in the form of a Bergina storming up on our creatures. I suppose we always have our guards for that reason though. Magic and Croissant really need to catch up with the leader. So after we have Croissant pick up the meat that he caught in the last turn, we'll have him make his way over to the beaches. I have a feeling that he's going to have a little tiny shadow right behind him though. Bellatrix was just far too impressed by his bunny catching skills. So as we bring him up to the shores... Oh no, who caught the leech? Oh, don't tell me that was over by the ports. No, this is what you two were supposed to be watching out for. Oh, poor Riley. I wonder if perhaps it noticed all of that heat radiating from her body. Was it attracted for that reason? Well, I'm sure that Katniss is going to be able to help her out on the next turn, but they're a little bit too tired right now. So instead, let's have Magic claw her way to the shores as well. She could settle down next to her brother and pick up some of the coconuts. And then we'll have Bellatrix toddle her way out of the grass, probably a bit more clumsy than the older creatures, but it would still be quite the adorable sight. She is very eager to learn. She wants to learn like everything she possibly can from this grand hunter. At least that's what he seems in her eyes, and I'm sure that's just warming Dewdrop's heart. He always did have a soft spot for the babies anyways, but pretty soon he's not going to be able to teach them anymore. He's getting pretty close to the end of his lifespan too, so he understands it's just time for him to pass on the torch. We could have him and Tara just share one last shell together, and then I guess they could spend the night side by side. She can thank him for always being her father figure, always being there where her father couldn't be. So that should be the end of our turn now, and now's our chance to see Duke Kareem's very final baby. Do you think there's any possibility that they'll have the heat body too? No, unfortunately I don't see those orange spikes. But he is Duke's first son. All of their babies up until this point have been females. So I guess that's a good thing, because it does give us a way to carry on our lines. Oh, and it looks like we're getting our first taste of the bugs from the swamplands as well. Mulberry's misfortune has come out to buzz around Dewdrop. Oh, I wonder if he's a little bit more torn up about the fact that he can't go with these children than we thought. They've just been his life up until this moment. So he probably feels very lost. Not to mention he's watching all of his own kids walk off too. So even though they might be walking on to bigger and greater things, it's still pretty sad for the old guy to see. So I don't know, maybe at the very least we could have him dig around for roots on his last day. We do have a couple back here. Oh, but I'm not sure that he's going to be able to get to them. Well, we'll have him settle down next to the roots anyways. And maybe with some of his very last strength, he can paw at the ground and try to grab it. But as far as this little baby goes, we can't forget to name him. So the next name on my list is Glacier Paw. That's a pretty cute name. I wonder if they named him Glacier Paw for the digging paw that he has? I mean, we do use our digging skills quite a bit when we're in the mountains, so I suppose it would make sense. Oh my gosh, and do not forget, Katniss. Do not forget to pick off that leech and lick your sister's wounds. We know that the piranhas are around here somewhere. I think we last saw them over here by this tree. And I would not at all be surprised if they followed us all the way over to this beach. The piranhas gotta eat somehow. So maybe Katniss would very gently request that Riley scoots over in this direction. That way they won't have this situation pop up ever again. I wonder if perhaps we should bring Ramée along with her son? I mean, she might not be particularly useful in the mountains, since she only has a spiky body, she has one of those deformed paws. But she's starting to get concerned that he might just be as directionally challenged as she is. Does that make any sense? She is a bit forgetful, and she isn't very good at finding her way home. So she's wondering if perhaps her son might be the same. In fact, I can totally see him just settling down between the kids. He already knows Katniss, so he's probably here to make friends. But that will instead put him in the direct line of sight of any other potential leeches in the area. So they're gonna have to keep a very close eye on him. That is all that I can say about that. I guess we'll bring Ramée over in this direction. That way she can light up more of the area for the other creatures joining us. And now we have 5 ports remaining, which is just enough room for all of our creatures, plus the newest little baby. So Croissant, you better catch up to Lolly. You and your sister are not doing a very good job keeping up with her. I think they're gonna realize here that they really need to try harder to stay by her side, because there's always a chance that some danger could spawn here. They've already seen Lolly get attacked once by a Bergina, so they know they can't be too careful. We could probably have Tara spend 1 extra day just picking up the food. Since we will need the extra day for the little baby to grow, he won't be able to toddle his way over to the ports until he has his 2nd gem. So that'll give us a chance to get back up to 500 pieces maybe. And I suppose it would give Bellatrix a little bit more time to explore. Like, she does want to keep up with her mentor, of course. But since we do have those bunnies in the darkness, I can see her being very, very torn. Maybe we'll have her go this way and like hide in the grass for a moment. We'll just see if she can pick that off before we leave. I'm pretty sure the bunny may have actually stolen something from us. I heard that mysterious little bunny squeak, and that usually means that they're picking up berries. So maybe she can find another tasty morsel for us too. But that should be the end of our turns once again, unless you guys have anything you can dig up. Now, looks like the root situation is pretty much bare. Who has the hammer tail, though? You do, Rayleigh. Oh, that's why you were over here. You could have scooped up the shell for us? No wonder. She probably remembered that too after Mammoth took her spot. The 2 sisters are gonna have to duke it out to see who's going to pick up that one last shell, assuming that the tides don't sweep it away. Because sometimes those bandit brothers can be tricky. They like to take our shells away right before we scoop them up. Oh my goodness, and how majestic does Katniss look? Now that she's all grown up? Oh, she is going to make for one gorgeous, gorgeous creature in the mountains. I love how the spikes go all the way down their spine, like right up to the base of their tail. That is such a cool gene. This is honestly the first time that I've ever seen it in the game, so I'm glad we got the chance to experience that together. Well, since they're not ready to leave just yet, maybe Katniss could give this one up to her little sister. I mean, she only has 2 gems, so we'll let her go ahead and pick up that shell. Then she should be able to scoot right on back to her old place. She knows she could have easily overpowered her little sister, but she's not going to let Rayleigh know that she let her win. She'll let her have this victory so she can instill her with a little bit of confidence. Now I guess we'll have to bring Sapphire over here. That way the little baby will still be protected. And do you still have your bunny off in the grass? Yep, it looks like he's hopping around the side. Oh, excellent. He didn't even see you coming. Now she'll be set up pretty well to set off for the next island too. She can just scoot right over to those ports on the next turn. So grab the last of your berries, And then I guess we'll scoot Tara over here. There's not a whole lot to do on this turn otherwise. I guess we could just have our creatures try their best to pop some of these worms maybe. Use whatever turns they can to gather more food. We'll have Sapphire go ahead and pick up some of the extra nesting material. And then we should be ready to just skip the day, because our final 2 creatures are just about to set their feet down on the ports. And thank goodness this time Animeme is actually not interested in challenging our creatures. Usually she sends her Berryinas out on the exact same day that we're ready to leave. But this time, Glacier Paw, it's all up to you, and up to your big sister too. Oh, I love how similar they look. I didn't even realize that. They're like literally twins. The same fur color. The only thing that's different is the tail. So Glacier Paw has a little bit of a one-up on Bellatrix, and that's probably why she's trying so hard to push herself, become like the best hunter in the entire land. So all of our creatures are ready for the next great migration. We might as well just have Sapphire try to gather the last of our food. If we bring her over here, she'll be able to pick the berries, and she'll still be able to see as all of her babies set off. She must be so proud of them. I'm sure that she wishes she could see them in action too. But Sapphire will still be with us in spirit, giving us a luck as we set off to our next island. Fingers crossed that we're going to see a mountain there. I believe Sapphire was one of the last remaining creatures who had actually experienced the mountain, so maybe that alone will give us the good luck that we need. Ooh, talk about good luck! Oh my gosh, you guys, I think this is the Whale Island port. Yes, because they changed them to look a little bit more similar to the mountain ports, but I'm pretty sure this one leads us to Whale Island. I mean, we can't get any better than that, because on Whale Island we can choose which island we want to go to next, so we can just like straight up pick one of the mountains to go to. Well, you guys, I guess you're going to get to see the mountain in your lifetime after all. We just have to get you over there, and I guess we might as well pick up the shells along the way. Tara in particular would probably be quite suited to that task. That was how she spent her final day with her father after all, so it'd be a good way to honor his memory. Though at the same time, an even better way to honor his memory would be to teach these little babies. And I did notice that we have quite a few roots out here too. Like an actual feast of roots. Glacier Paw would be able to dig up more than most of our creatures with this digging trunk and digging paw combined. So he should probably be the one to scoot on up here and start picking up every last one of these patches. I guess if he digs his way over to the ports, we'll have enough food to last us for days and days and days. Do you think we're going to find anyone new out here? I suppose there's always the possibility, and we do have many more ports to work with, so we could even take some new little BBs with us. Now it looks as though Ramay has unfortunately gotten separated with Mammoth. He's probably busy over here with all of these berries. If we scoot him on up here, too, he should be able to protect it from the other side. I'll bet he noticed Bellatrix when she was going after the bunnies, and he doesn't want to risk any of his delicious morsels getting stolen. Let's send her straight off into the grass, too. I don't think she'll want to waste any time with the roots. She is here for only one thing, and that would be the bunnies. She doesn't want anything to do with all of the other boring stuff. And poor Lolly, she's probably feeling a little bit left out now. She's supposed to be the leader here, and all of these other creatures are rushing out, taking point. So let's have her and her guards start carving the pathway over to the ports. I suppose that can be their job. We'll have Lolly sit down right here, and then you guys can just pick up every last blade of grass in her shadow. It's not a very long walk. In fact, we should be able to set ourselves up there before this episode ends, because I was not kidding when I said we were going to do some very quick island hopping. I guess we'll have Ramay follow them for now. She probably figures her son would be most likely to go with the pack, but little does she know he was too distracted by the food. And as for Rayleigh and Katniss, I wonder where we should have them go. Oh my gosh, the roots. He can literally follow the roots like a pathway over to those ports. Oh, Glacier Paw, you are going to have way too many roots. There's actually too many for him to dig up on his own. I guess we'll have his siblings come over here and give him a hand then. He is never going to leave if we don't give him a little bit of help. So our first night on the new island, Let's see if anything else decides to spawn out here. In particular, I'm looking for those bunnies, and I'm pretty sure that I heard them. Oh yes, you have so many bunnies to go after out here, Bellatrix. I wonder if she can surprise them again. She was pretty good at sneaking up on them before. Oh no, but it seems like that one may have noticed her. Well, at least she's building a pretty good pathway for her siblings to use as they go for those roots. Magic, you almost missed that, didn't you? Good thing our guards are so perceptive. Let's have Lolly come up here too so she can pick up some more of the grass. And I guess, for that matter, she could also dig up the roots too. We might even have Croissant do the same, since he has the digging paw as well. He's just as skilled as Glacier Paw is at that. So I guess he's going to have two creatures looking up to him. He has Bellatrix admiring him for his bunny hunting skills. And now pretty soon he's going to have a brand new shadow trailing right behind him, trying to pick up some tips and tricks about digging up these roots. Bellatrix, maybe if you jump down here, you could pick up this bunny next time. Oh, it is just teasing you. That is always the worst when the bunnies are hopping around us when we don't have any more energy. Tara can grab this shell, but if we swap her around with Ramee, we could probably pick up a couple more. Yeah, like the food is still really not an issue, but I just want to make sure we'll have enough to get to the end of Whale Island without any panicking involved. I wonder if Magic might even be the tiniest bit jealous of her big brother. He seems to be getting all of the attention right now. And I mean, I know it's more about the job, it's more about making sure that their leaders are safe, but she can't help but wish that she had some kids looking up to her too. She idolized Snowshoe in the same way after all. That's why they took on this job. So she really just wants to know that she's helping inspire the next generation as well. Now Katniss, you might have to call out to Mammoth if you want him to follow you guys. He's finished picking from his berry bush, but he's still quite suspicious about all of those bunnies hopping around it. I guess she could probably entice him by telling him that there's plenty more berries on the next island. Like, even though our tribe has never been to Whale Island before, even though she can't be sure, she knows it's the only way to get his attention. I could see the sisters, like, literally dragging him by the nose with berries in their claws. Maybe we could even have one of them cut down the berry bushes before we go. Then they could use the branches with the berries on them as bait. Yep, Katniss, I think that is the perfect plan. Let's bring her over here, and then she should be strong enough to swipe down this berry bush. Yeah, that even gives us a little bit of extra nesting material too, so it's a huge benefit for our tribe. I do feel like we should probably start considering who our tribe mates are going to pair up with next. Some of them are getting rather old after all. Lolly only has 6 days remaining, and while she will certainly live long enough to see Whale Island, it's gotta be difficult knowing that she doesn't have anybody to pass her crown to. So maybe she is truly turning toward Croissant? He has so much more time left in his lifespan. He could definitely keep their babies safe. And even though they might be a little bit sickly, at least she would have somebody to keep her memory alive. Somebody to keep her family's memory alive especially. Though if she waits a little bit longer, would she actually be compatible with Glacier Paw? Yeah, it looks like they have different immunity genes. But I wonder how Croissant would feel about that. Like I said before, I feel like he does have a little bit of a crush on her, so it might actually break his heart to see her starting a family with somebody else. Especially with one of his very own students. Glacier Paw looks up to Croissant so much. I mean, if he knew that Croissant was interested, then maybe he wouldn't bother chasing after Lolly. But that is going to feel like quite the betrayal in Croissant's eyes. But let's keep pushing Mammoth straight through the grass. We'll follow right after Katniss so she can give him some of those berries. Ah, the bunnies return again. Look at this, your arch nemesis. Good thing Bellatrix is in the area, but she doesn't have the energy to pick this bunny off right now. So we'll just set her up there so she can hopefully guard the berry bushes, because it would be a good idea for us to collect the berries since it just started to rain. I guess Ramee could probably come around this way. She could pick up at least one of the berries, And this will be our way to reunite her with her son. Oh, the adventures he'll get into if he follows his nose like he is right now. Well, Rayleigh, it might be time for you to come on over here and swipe up this berry bush too. Since the bunny did go off in this direction, there's probably a good possibility that he's going to steal those before we can grab them. Let's set Rayleigh up over here just in case. If it does try to sneak its way through the grass, we might be able to swipe it up with her too. Now, Lolly, of course we're going to have you take a front and center position, and we'll have your guards set up right beside you. You know, I think we can officially say that you are the one and only leader who has ever seen 3 islands in their lifetime. And I mean across like every single one of our tribes, not just the ancient legends. I don't think anybody else has been quite as ambitious as you. So I think we should be out of turns again. It looks like there's nothing else for our creatures to grab. So this should be our final turn on this tiny little island, and our first step onto the back of a whale. And how fitting is it that Glacier Paw has gained his final gem on this very same day. So as we bring him out of the grass, we could have him settle down right beside Lolly, and I guess the two can get to know each other as we get ready to depart. Oh no! Oh, Remay, I didn't mean to use all of your turns. Oh my gosh, it's her personality just shining right through. Remay, you used all of your energy on the berry bush. Well, I guess we can have Tara go ahead and grab up the rest, but it looks like Remay is going to be staying behind. She's going to be leaving her son to just bumble his way through the world. But let's be honest, she wasn't really the greatest help anyways, and he has some pretty lovely guides now. I'm sure that Rayleigh and Katniss are going to continue to watch out for him. So let's just go ahead and pick up some of the very last of our grass, some of the very last of our nesting material, and then I guess we're ready to go to Whale Island next. So let's go there before we end out the episode. That way we can see what we're going to be dealing with. Oh, and you know, I wonder if we're going to find anybody with the wings out here. This is typically where they live. I mean, we had our whole Whale Island series devoted to just finding the wings out here. Oh, wouldn't that be cool? I mean, technically the wings are some sort of ancient gene, so it's not as if it would be out of the question for us to breed it into our tribe. And how cool would the wings look with the heat body too? Oh, they could be like true path makers, flying to whoever needs help and getting them back to safety. Of course, the top priority is going to be just getting to a mountain again, so if we don't find the wings before we get to the end of Whale Island, I guess that'll be that. But who knows, maybe with Melody looking out for us now, Solaris will find us too. But for now, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye guys!